Doli, doli.
With this awesome network of Stellar, and I've got Anka, who is the program manager at the SDF. How are you enjoying this incredible weekend?
I'm enjoying it very much. We have so much going on. We have a hackathon, we have different challenges going on, we have happy hours. There's lots of devs and artists involved and that are very excited about Stellar. So yeah.
Now, you guys are doing a great job. So you're not here right now, but if you walk around this entire floor, you've got banners of Stellar everywhere. You've got merch on desk and on seats. I mean, it's definitely been a Stellar takeover. A Stellar takeover it has been. Man, so that was from South by Southwest earlier this year. I mean, the whole entire SDF crew was out there just really having a huge impact in person, interacting with the community. I had a chance to speak to Anka back then, but today, that's right, even though that tweet says tomorrow, it is today, live with John, a.k.a. Spintax, the community manager, the man behind the scenes. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Man, you know what? It's been really good to get to know you over the past. It's been several months now since you've been here, right?
It's been tomorrow will be 10 months.
10 months.
In preparation, I counted up the days.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. It feels like for many of us that we've known you for years. I really wanted to kind of dive into a lot of the things that you've been leading behind the scenes. I know there's a lot of folks that are interested. But before we jump into that, I wanted to just start from the beginning and have an idea about how you got introduced to Stellar to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure everybody kind of has this person in their life that's basically like an oracle. And I would say if you don't, then you might be that person. But like, there's that guy that who, like, for me, it was a really close friend who like tipped me off on Ethereum, and it was like below 30 cents. He's also
nice.
He also probably created the first animated NFT, and this was like back before NFTs were called NFTs. So like that's the kind of guy he is. But anyway, he was the person that kind of put me on to Stellar back in like 2018. I remember it was like the first time he brought it up, and just been history from there.
Wow, man. It's amazing how long this journey's been. I can't imagine Ethereum under 30 cents. So you know what?
Oh no, not 30 cents. $30. Did I say cents?
$30. It's
$30.
just as
It's
low.
still-
It's just as low.
Yeah, I feel like still a buying opportunity.
Yes. Hopefully we don't see that again. Let me check the chart. So tell us a little bit about your role as community manager.
So I think to break into that, like a good place to start is to really talk about like the role of community in business today. And I think in the last 10 years, it's really been something that's taken off. And I think that there are really like two big trends worth looking at here. So the first is, and stop me if I'm getting like way too in the weeds here, but the first one is there's a concept of a loneliness epidemic happening. So we've seen data coming out saying that people all over the world, especially in like Western society, are feeling more lonely. Social media that was supposed to bring us together ended up making us feel more isolated. So 61% of Americans reported feeling lonely in 2019, whereas the number was 54% in 2018. And there's also what's referred to as the Great Disconnect, where fewer people are engaging in traditional community institutions, like attending church or socializing with neighbors. Like church attendance is down from the 1970s.
Wow.
It was at like 57% of Americans. Now it's 44%. And then also, like I think it's 1974. 1/3 of Americans time socially with their neighbors like several times a week, and now that's down to like 19%. So people can do more while staying home and don't really need those connections the way that they used to. So people are also spending less time at work, schmoozing with their coworkers. So now, unless you have a Zoom meeting scheduled or something on the calendar, if you work from home, you're not really getting the same social interactions that you used to. Families are becoming smaller. People are moving farther away from their families. People just don't need community the same way that they used to. We used to need community from our family, from neighbors, neighborhoods. They would provide, food, protection services, resources. But we're getting a lot of those things from society now. Case in point, the internet provides information that we used to have to like walk down the street and ask people about, hey,
Right.
do you remember the 16th president? Now you just Google it. And we're moving in a direction where we can be more individualistic, but that's resulting in more loneliness overall. And I promise this comes back to business. So people are looking for that engagement in other places, and they're finding it with communities like the Stellar community, or even like Walmart community. Walmart has a community that people pursue.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the way businesses have changed over the last 100 or so years, I think, is pretty evident as well. So like if you look back further, like back in the Industrial Revolution, everything was pretty transactional, and there wasn't really much in the way of like customer service. Businesses functioned that way for a while. Then we start to see a shift away from that towards purpose and values and customer-centric business practices. So, and we've seen like a huge leap in that as far as millennials go. Like millennials are just much more interested in like the values and purpose behind a company instead of just like the goods or the services that are provided. So that's
I can see
basically where like community comes into play with all of this. But me specifically, my roles, if you want to get into a granular level of it, maintaining and fostering the community is like the top thing. But if you get into specifics, I have a lot of different roles at SDF. So I'm basically the first touch point for people who come in off the street. If they're wanting to engage with SDF, whether it's by email, through our website, on Reddit, Twitter, Discord, our legacy account upgrade service, or even Telegram, I'm hopefully the first person that they talk to. And that those communications can range from partnerships partnership requests, troubleshooting, exchange transactions, scam reports, just general questions, you name it. I also keep all my coworkers and bosses informed about what's going on in the community as far as initiatives, complaints, praise, just general sentiment. That information is hugely important to SDF. Everyone is very interested. I also direct activities with our scam and phishing prevention contractor. That is, I personally, I find that to be a very interesting and fulfilling job.
Yes, I would hope so. There's a scam in phishing prevention. What? I missed that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have contracted a company to basically work for us, hunting down websites and social media accounts that are targeting Stellar users for scams.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
So it's not all in-house, so we do have out-of-house stuff as well. So
Good.
yeah, it's very, very cool stuff going on. And my understanding, SDF brought the contractor on before I started, but my understanding is that things were a lot less pleasant as far as how we were dealing with those things. Now it's much better.
Good. I would definitely say, I mean, since you've gotten into the community, I mean, we've seen you, as you mentioned, in the Discord. You're in the Stellar Global Discord often. We see you involved in Reddit and other communities. And I think that what has been awesome is the fact that it's like, I wish I could pull the meme up, but this is like this meme, this office dude who takes the notes. He just like, I got it, and it's definitely appreciative. And we've seen a definite change in the level of responsiveness, from the feedback. A lot of time that's shared within the Discords. We see that kind of, over the years. I mean, even if you look at, let's say, some of the major protocol upgrades that we've seen and the focuses that we've seen, a lot of that is because of the feedback and the communication that's comes from the community. So thank you for all that you guys are doing and listening. It definitely helps a lot. So, I'm curious, I've been involved with Stellar for quite some time now. You coming in the last 10 months, as you said, how would you describe the culture, maybe from, kind of how you saw it coming in to where it is now? How would you describe the culture, especially, I would say, since your first interaction was through the Ethereum blockchain community?
Yeah. So the Stellar community culture is, I think if it could be summed up in one word, is mature. And I feel like that needs a little bit of an explanation as to why that is like a really important.
No, wait, hold on. I would have paused you on that. That word right there is probably the most common adjective I get when I speak to people outside of the community, especially professionals outside of the community, looking at the Stellar network. So first of all, I just want to say I'm happy to hear that. We didn't talk about this answer prior to this, so continue, man. Go ahead. Curious to hear your.
So I kind of liken it to my own experience with blockchain. So when I first got into it, I was a lot. When they first get into it, it's basically like my childhood of blockchain, and I was really just kind of like a moon boy, just chasing, just trying to find an ICO that was going to turn a profit, like that kind of thing. Super shallow, like not really. I was not. Didn't have my head in the right place. Then as I was reading through all these white papers for all of these tokens that were going to be ICO'd. And I came to this realization that they all sound exactly the same, basically. I mean, of course, there are some exceptions, but generally, most of them sounded exactly the same. Most of them were basically going to be worthless and not do anything. And it kind of made me have this realization that I needed to be focusing instead on things with actual substance, chains that are actually going to do
Did you
something.
just say things with actual substance? Man, I would agree with you on that. I would agree. Good call.
So I think of that as my maturation into a not being a blockchain boy, but becoming a blockchain man at that point. And I feel
Nice.
I feel like a lot of people who are in the Stellar community are also in that kind of headspace where they're done with like the frivolous, crypto. Like I'm not chasing gains anymore all day. I'm actually interested in something that is going to make a change in the world.
Right.
And just like the idea that I get to work for a company who is literally changing how financial technology works and is going to revolutionize like how money works globally is incredible.
Right, right. No, it really is, and I will agree. It's something, especially in doing these podcasts. Shameless plug, just uploaded all these to Spotify. Go and follow. But I mean, I look at them and it's like nearly 100 interviews, right, and podcasts, and it's filled with entrepreneurs, filled with builders, filled with people that are creating and thriving to create real world use cases. And these are everyday normal folks. These are people from the community where it's coming from. And so there's definitely a basis in what you're seeing from what we're showing on the network. I mean, some of the stats as an example, showing as far as real world assets that have been added to the Stellar blockchain, year after year, is very telling. With that, as a community manager, I'm always curious because, it's an open protocol, right? And I know that the SDF in particular, also, I think, who we are as a community, I feel as any community, it really reflects on the leadership, right? The leadership attracts certain types of people, right? Leadership attracts. And so I think also we have to give a good, toodles and congratulations to the leadership of the SDF, because it attracts, the people that make up a large bulk of the community. With that in mind, it's an open, decentralized network. Anybody can build on it. Anybody could come into it. I could imagine that, as a community manager, you get asked to be pulled in a lot of different directions. Are there like parameters in which the SDF from a perspective kind of limit you and limit what you can do and support, etc.? Do you have parameters in that regards?
It's a great question. As far as like limits on what I'm supposed to be doing, I in general I have like daily activities that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, it's a fairly autonomous position. Like if I decided something would be beneficial to the network, and if it's community related, is probably a big plus to that too. I have a fairly like free range to go just do that thing if it is going to be beneficial. It aside from that, like yeah, there's some stuff that I can't do, but that's like I'm not going to come on here and talk about like price or anything. So that is like I think the one hard stop that we have. And then
Right.
yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I mean, it kind of going along that theme of, the fact that it's an open, decentralized network. There has been a rise in, a wide range of scams, schemes throughout crypto lately. I mean, we just saw this big, Terra Luna, which, there's still a lot of evidence coming out of exactly what happened there. But what we've been seeing throughout the crypto community, Stellar is not immune to. And so, I mean, what are some of the common, I guess, examples that you've started to see pop up within the Stellar community?
I really appreciate you asking this question because part of what I feel like my duty is to the community is to educate them on like pitfalls and traps that are
Mm-hmm.
out in the world. I kind of a little bit feel like community is my baby, and then I really want to take care of everybody, especially since there's I feel like there's a level of trust put into me, so I want to you know act accordingly with that. But do want to preface this. This is not a class on how to do crypto scams. So just because I'm telling you
Right.
people about this, do not go out and do this. But some of the common ones, there's really two common scams that take place on the Stellar network. The first one is like a pretty straightforward phishing scam. And the only reason that I'm saying it's common is because the people that do it are just persistent with it. Because you can find people that were born yesterday every once in a while, but it is basically it's exactly the same every time, so it's really easy to look out for, which is the good news. They send out an email. Generally, there's some list of emails that they have. They send out batches of emails that say that there is a staking competition happening on Stellar. There will never be a staking competition on Stellar. There will never be one run by the SDF, which is what this is claiming to be. There's a link to a phishing website with a fake blog, and then they'll basically ask you to either put in your seed phrase or secret key, or they'll ask you to send lumens to a certain address, and then that's it. They tell you that you'll get it's like some crazy APY. I don't know, I can't remember at the moment, but that's our contractor. One of their main jobs is to just constantly troll for this website and immediately pull it down whenever they find it.
So I'm curious, when they say send lumens to a wallet, I mean, do they send it and then then tell you to come and put your secret key in there to retrieve your returns or something like that? Is that how that works?
So there's a fake account viewer website where you can put your secret key into. Don't do that.
That's how they do it. Right.
Yeah, and then there's a less frequent offshoot version of it where they actually have you send your lumens, you'll actually transact to them, and they say that they'll send you basically returns.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yes, and then they
send me all your lumens, and I'll send you, your lumens times 2 or something like that.
I've seen a really sophisticated one where you send your lumens, and they'll actually send you payments for a couple of months, like a percentage.
Wow.
And then they just stop because they're hoping you'll put more in. So don't do that.
Yeah. If it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
That's what Danelle says all the time. If it's too good to be true. Yeah. And then the other one is super, super simple. It's just people creating an asset on Stellar and telling you that it's something that's not, basically. So someone might mint Tesla stock, but there's no stock to back it. And in my eyes, that is a scam.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen that one a lot recently, where people create assets, either duplicate to assets or completely new assets that they claim to have insight on or something of that nature. What are some tips, I guess, and we can maybe even start with the asset ones. Sure. What are some good tips for people to kind of look before they start buying these assets? Because once they buy it, it's an open network. I mean, we have no control over that.
Yeah, so it's an open network. We don't have any control over that. There are community efforts basically to flag these assets. I've recently become very active on stellar.expert with helping flag these assets. So that's a great place to check. Not all of those databases are aligned, so some may have some flagged and some may not have them flagged, but that's a good place to start. There's a good practice of a lot of people check the number of trust lines, but that can be spoofed, basically. Well, not spoofed, but you can just set up decoy trust lines so that it looks like there are more people trading it than there actually are. I've found that one of the biggest things is just the domain tied to the asset when that's entered into the TOML file. These people, the scammers, if they're issuing, 100 assets. They're not going to make separate. They're not going to set up a separate convincing looking website for each of them.
Website. Right.
And a common practice that they do is that they just redirect their domain to the stellar.org website. And that should be
Really?
a huge red flag. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So, I mean, for the record, is Stellar issuing any assets directly?
Okay, so this is for the record. The Stellar Development Foundation has issued. I would say the only asset that we have issued is XLM, but that's not true because we have issued some NFTs. So if it's not an NFT and it's not XLM, we didn't issue it. But yeah, so like during Meridian, we issued some sock and hat NFTs. And
right, I remember that.
Now, it's kind of fun.
Okay, yeah. when you said it wasn't true, I was like, oh my God, we're about to get a breaking bomb here. It's like, actually, yes.
Well, I mean, I might be able to give you some bombs. I know some things that I am allowed to say. So
okay,
but
all right,
but yeah. So touching on the NFT stuff. So we also have Stellar Quest, and they issue NFTs for completing Stellar Quest as well, which is super cool. If you're not involved in Stellar Quest, I recommend checking it out. Tyler, who runs it, is a genius.
Yes, he
and
is.
Everybody in that community is super awesome.
Nah, that is great. That is definitely a place. I'm actually gonna have my son. He's turning 10, and he already is really into computers and coding, and I'm gonna let him play around with it, see how far he can go. Because
awesome.
I really like what he created there. So finally, just to wrap up on the scam part. I mean, what is I guess something that a victim, if someone's a victim, what is the best action that they can take, or what do you recommend they do if they realize they've been scammed or they're in part of some community that's constantly scamming, etc.?
Yeah, so the number one thing that they can do is report it to law enforcement. I think that is the more reports that go to law enforcement, the quicker we're going to see some support and change from government officials, people who are actually going to have power to like put their foot down and put these people in prison. The second thing, and this is not as important, but it's pretty important. Reach out to SDF and let us know, because we care and we are definitely working on trying to stop these things on our end as well within our capacity. And one really great place to reach out to is community@stellar.org.
Community@stellar.org. @.org. Good to know. And in case you missed it too, stellar.expert is another place he mentioned earlier that you can go to check for flagged assets as well. And I believe you can also, on your own at stellar.expert, if you see something, you can report it as well there.
Sorry to cut in. Just one important thing. So I've seen people saying that those reports on stellar.expert, that just anybody can flag something as a scam. That's not true.
Okay.
Anybody can report, but to get that flag on there, it has to actually be like looked at by someone who is verified.
Okay, that's good to know. So someone can't just feel like someone's maliciously going after somebody. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So enough on all the depressing scammers that are out there. Let's talk about some of the positive, happy things that that the Stellar community manager John, aka Spintax, has under his belt for the remaining year. I know that we got Stellar Community Fund, which is I was just talking to someone yesterday about it. That's making a submission. Do you want to talk about that first? Where you want to start?
So I'm really excited about this round of the Stellar Community Fund.
Good.
But
Me too.
I have scoops as far as like community activities and stuff. So maybe I'll save that for after the community fund.
Okay, sounds
That'll
good.
be our
Sounds
dessert.
good. So that'll be a dessert. So let's talk about Stellar Community Fund.
So I know you're familiar with the Stellar Community Fund. Congratulations on winning last round.
Thank you.
But basically, SDF has set aside a sum of XLM, which is not minuscule, to pay out to community projects. And the way that we are discerning how we should do that is we are actually reaching out to the community and asking them to review these project submissions and vote on them. So it's very cool. It's very like community centric. I'm really excited about it. If you look at our mandate page, you can see that like what exactly amount we have to give out annually. So that's very cool too. Very transparent. But basically anybody can apply as long as you are not on you're not in a sanctioned territory on the U.S. sanctions list, and as long as you're not breaking the law, is basically the gist.
Probably
of it.
Important, right?
So,
yeah, hopefully you're not breaking the law, everybody.
And for people unfamiliar, gambling is, I think, federally illegal in the United States. It is definitely something that you don't like play around with. So no gambling projects.
Yeah, I can't. It's like almost every SDF round, at least one person messages me about, hey, do you think I should go ahead and submit a gambling application? I'm like, you might want to read the parameters there, you know?
It might be a successful project on Stellar, but it would not be Stellar Community Fund winner.
Right. So I know that there's been, Stellar Global obviously went through there. What are, for people maybe listening, what are some other projects that, are still around right now that have gone through and benefited?
So there's some big names. I don't know if you've ever heard of Lightmint.
Yes. Shout out to Lightmint. Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, Lightmint, Fred shared one Twitter space. He actually lost the first time he submitted. So everybody out there that, don't give up because he lost and had to come back. So, so that is a good story there.
That's what Anka always tells people. If you lose, resubmit, because losing the first round is not an actual loss. It's just marketing. It's like free marketing basically for your next round.
True.
So I'm just going to hit a couple of highlights here. Lobster.
Lobster, yes, okay.
Lobster's pretty big. And then recent history, I have some personal favorites. Fiji Coin. First of all,
Fiji Coin, okay.
I love the dev behind it. Very cool guy.
Nice.
It basically Fiji Coin. I'm sorry, we didn't go over like what the other ones were. So obviously, Stellar Global is a community effort. Lobster is a wallet, and Lightmint was started off as an NFT-based card game and has expanded into a very, very cool NFT marketplace. But Fiji Coin is they are trying to set up a CBDC in Fiji and have it on the Stellar network, which is very exciting. Last I spoke to him, it's been a while since I've spoken to him. But the last time I spoke, he was in like legitimate meetings with the central bank of Fiji, and like,
man, how about that? Through the community fund, a CBDC. Look at this.
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, very cool. He was like coming back to us and saying, "Hey, the bank has all these questions. Can you help me with these answers?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, cool.
We would love to." Expo Market is another cool one.
Expo, Enrique. Yeah.
A fully decentralized, open source, and privacy-focused P2P market for Stellar Network. Another one I really like, and I think that I feel like sometimes people think that the community fund projects have to be really big, but they don't. And I feel like the small ones get a lot of traction because, when someone's asking for $250,000, it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to be really critical when I'm looking at this project. But if someone's asking for like $10,000, I'm like, well, I can afford to put $10,000 down if it pans out, that's great. If it doesn't, then it's $10,000, which is a lot of money. But in the scheme of the community fund, that still leaves a lot of room for other projects to be selected as well. Because I don't know if we mentioned this, but the community fund is a bucket of money, and once projects have that are, as they are selected, eat up that bucket of money, you hit the limit, and basically no more projects for that round can be accepted.
Yeah, that's important to point out.
So Simple Signer is one of the smaller projects. It's basically just a secure in-browser transaction signer, which generally, I mean, I feel like having more than one or two options for that is very good. So that was a solid pick for me. The dev is currently now a pretty active community member on the dev Discord server. And I think I'm pretty sure he's still fairly active on the Stellar Community Fund server as well. So very exciting thing there. But yeah, it's a great opportunity, and there's no risk involved at all. So I recommend people always go for it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree as well. So on the SDF, before we close off that part of the discussion, what are some important dates that everyone should know of?
So today is an important date. If you are interested in talking to Anka and me about the community fund, we had 2 meetings scheduled for today. The first one has already happened this morning, but there's another one. It is at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. It'll be in the Discord server for the Stellar Community Fund. And to get to that, probably the easiest way is to go to communityfund.stellar.org, and you'll find a link there. But yeah, if you want to come talk to us, we'll be around for about an hour this evening. And it's just a great opportunity, because I feel like a lot of people want kind of some guidance on how to exactly what needs to be in their application. And we just kind of provide some generalized guidance. Nothing's like really that specialized. We're not going to sit down and like help you write your application, but we'll kind of give you some like general ideas behind like what you want to look out for, what to avoid, what you want to do. And then, so submissions end on May 22nd. At this point, I would say if you're not planned to do this until now, you might be a little late to get going on it. I'm not saying you can't, but I would recommend waiting for the next one if you haven't even started yet. Then we'll have a panel selection. So an internal SDF panel will work through the submissions. And after that, there's I think the most fun part, which is the community discussion period. It's from June 6th through June 19th, which is followed by community voting, which to me just kind of meshed together the two, because we're still sitting around discussing the projects. But it's very cool. All the project owners pile into Discord, all the verified voters pile into Discord, and it's just like a few weeks of basically like not window shopping, but like I guess it's kind of like window shopping, but you're not shopping, or maybe you are. I don't know. It's kind of it's nebulous, I guess. You get to wander around and network with people and talk to them and ask them about their projects, and then like it's very cool to see submitters hop around to each other's channels, because everybody gets their own channel for their project, and it's very cool to see project owners hop around and talk to each other about their project and start to network and cooperate, coordinate. It's very, very fun.
That is cool. Yeah, I remember going through the process myself, and that was something that I liked, was, people coming in, giving feedback, you go into other rooms. I feel as if even during that process, a lot of good relationships are created because of that sort of like, hey, we're all in this round together type feel. So it is really neat. It is really neat for sure. So you said today is the date for the discussion. And when is the last day for submission again?
It's May 22nd, but
May 22nd. Okay.
So Anka did say that if you really, really secretly need like 1 or 2 more days, that could happen. So I don't want to promise anybody that that'll happen, but I've heard her say it. So, and she said it publicly. So don't hold us to it, but you might have a chance if you reach out and ask very nicely.
Neat. So you have that. So the whole process, you said, so in June is the open discussion. when is the voting, and so when is the voting, and then I guess the actual distribution of funds. So like, how long is the
Um,
process?
oh man, so the voting is June 20th through July 3rd. Um, Distribution of funds is probably shortly after. The thing is, KYC collection has to occur before we can distribute any of that, and I'm not super tied into that process, so I don't know like an exact date of when payments will go out. But yeah, it should be fairly shortly after that. We'll definitely
Cool, cool, cool.
announce the winners like a few days after that.
Neat, neat, neat. No, that's awesome. That's great. And then, if I'm not mistaken, there's still like another room, another round towards the end of the year, right? So you have this one. If you miss out on it, then is it typically around the end of the year, or we don't know yet?
Well, as from my experience, it's been different every year. We're doing 2 rounds this
Okay.
year. I think we
Okay.
did
Okay.
4 rounds one year, and that just seems absolutely wild to me. So yeah, just like the amount of sheer like effort put into like having one
Yes.
is a lot. But yeah, so there'll be another one this year before the end of the year because we have basically committed these funds on the mandate to being issued, like to be used this way. So we have to do it before the end of the year, basically.
Cool, cool, cool. So we have the SCF. Let's talk about some other things that we have cooking for the end of the year. There was just recently, I know, like a huge announcement made about a certain special event that's going on. But yeah, I'll be curious to know what else you got cooking going on over there, John.
So I know we just announced Meridian. I have a terrible time of
Yes.
I know dates and things, and sometimes I don't always know whether or not they've been announced. So I'm going to be very careful, given that this is a live conversation. Uh,
Yes, please. I don't get me in trouble.
Sam asked me, but maybe I'll just talk about some stuff that like is very much under my under my community strategy. A lot of this stuff is not like 1,000% confirmed yet. So there are some maybe some legal or executive approvals that are still kind of pending on this stuff. But I have a general kind of green light that this is the direction that we would want to go in. I am going to launch a community program called Stellar Rangers, and it's
Wow.
going to
Okay.
be very community specific. It is going to be tied in with the MoneyGram International Partnership, where basically if
Wow.
you prove to me that you went to a MoneyGram location and interacted with the network, I'm going to issue you an NFT.
Oh, hold up. Wait, 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 wait. I haven't had to drop a bomb in a couple days. Been a while since I got to drop a bomb out here, man. So tell us again. This is MoneyGram talk. Let's go.
Okay, so yeah, I think we're all familiar with the fact that the Stellar has a partnership with MoneyGram, which it will
Mm-hmm.
launch soon.
All
I,
right. All right.
it'll definitely be in June. And so as part of
Mm-mm-mm.
that, um, I want to kind of do like a fun community project where if you guys go out and you go earn this NFT, there may also be an additional incentive included, but that's something that hasn't quite been fully ironed out yet. But
Nice.
I'm hopeful that
Nice.
we can include
Nice.
that as well.
Well,
I think
I plan on collecting NFTs. I like that idea.
well, I think there's a utility to the NFT, which to me is probably most exciting for me.
All right.
Is that if you come and find me out in the wild, and I don't mean come to my house. I mean like if I go to an event and you come and find
Okay.
me, I will have a Stellar branded trinket to give to you if you prove that you possess one of these Stellar Ranger NFTs. And
Nice.
as time progresses, and at each different event, I may have different trinkets to provide. So
Nice, 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 nice. I like that idea, man. I like that idea. I like that idea.
So
That's
if
gonna
anyone
be
is
real
going
fun.
to Consensus, you might want to. That might be like a Where's Waldo situation at Consensus.
Okay.
Meridian is another good place to look for me. I highly recommend everyone go to Meridian.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
yeah,
Rome, out there in Rome this
yeah,
year. I can't wait. I've had a lot of firsts this year, and so that's going to be added to my list of first places that I'll be visiting. So I'm excited for that one too.
awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you're going. But
Yes.
there will also be some. I'm going to be holding some NFT competitions, which I also plan to have a prize bucket for. So that should
Okay.
be fun. Uh, some of that stuff I actually need to talk to you about, probably privately.
All
But
right. Let's talk.
uh, also, so and then we touched on like, sorry to bring the mood down real quick, but we're gonna jump it right back up. Community initiative around curating assets. I really want to get that kickstarted in the next like quarter or so. That'd be very cool.
That'll be nice. So,
Um,
explain what you mean by that, because some people may not know curating assets.
Yeah,
So, what do you mean by that?
sure. So the way that we were talking about stellar.expert, you can flag scam assets. Kind of the idea is that community members, trusted community members, would be able to come together and create a curated list of good assets that are not that are very very low risk, I guess. And I don't mean from like an investment standpoint. I mean from
Right.
like rug pull scam standpoint. Like these are like
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah,
actual
yeah. Like we know who they
projects.
are. We know who's
Yes,
behind
yes,
them.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that sort of thing. Gotcha. Now that's a good idea. I like that. See, man,
yeah.
John got some good ideas. We like you, John. Keep talking, man.
Yeah, I'm not through my list yet.
Go ahead, man. I'm gonna sit back and let you talk, baby. Go ahead.
In the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a Twitter Spaces series launch,
Nice.
starring me and Zach. So
Now,
it'll be
Zach, wait a minute. Is it
the
Zach
yeah
sighting?
the
The
glorious return
Zach.
of Stellar Zach. I know everybody's been really excited about it. We've dragged him out of his cave.
Good, 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 good. Tell Zach I said hello.
I will, yeah. Zach,
He's probably
Zach's a
watching
big
right
fan of
now.
you. He might
No,
be.
man, no. He's a good guy, man. He's I'm glad that he's getting back out in the public. So that's awesome. Thank you for bringing him back out, John. Appreciate
Yeah, you're welcome.
it.
Okay, so this one I think you'll probably be excited for. I know you are hosting a blog yourself, and there might be some cross posts between the two
Nice.
things. I really want to give the SDF community blog a big kick in the pants and kick off a bounty program for it. I think that would be very cool.
Nice. That's cool.
And
That's
again,
cool.
just to Zach just told me he's watching. Now that I know my boss is watching, let me just again reiterate: none of this is like confirmed. These are just things that I really want to do and will
Possibly.
probably happen.
Possibly
Yes.
happen.
Don't yeah. Okay, yeah. So community blog bounty program, which is exactly what it sounds like, where basically it would be if you want to write a blog for the community blog, you would reach out, submit it. If it passes,
And it's been some really good ones. I saw some good ones. There was like I remember Hot Potato did one recently, and
hot potato is very cool.
yeah,
we were
yeah.
watching the video with Anka from South by at the beginning of this podcast,
Yeah.
and it just immediately brought me back to Hot Potato. I was like, that was a good couple of weeks.
That was
the
fun.
Hot Potato
Yeah,
times.
that was fun. That was fun. That was
Yeah.
fun. I'm sorry, I got you off track. Go ahead, man. So yeah, and I saw Justin on another side now. So Justin just launched a blog series,
newsletter,
which is
yeah, very cool.
You got that going on. You got Tomer. I mean, you guys are just out there and about. Even we got Stellar Zach out in the building. I mean, goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's very good to we have a lot of really smart and sharp people,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that they're getting
without a doubt.
out into the space and being much more publicly seen.
We are too.
But just kind of this is my last one. So bounty program is basically you submit a blog. If it meets my rigorous standards, then there might be a financial payout. It's basically it.
Good. Awesome. Well, this sounds like a lot of great stuff, man, and it's been a really exciting first part of the year. And it's like what's really been cool is that despite the market, and this goes back to the first thing you brought up is maturity, right? The maturity of the community. Despite the bear market, this has been a very exciting year for Stellar. I mean, we've seen new projects, we've seen new businesses that are coming in. We've seen just the community grow, and with the SDF involvement and with the community manager at the helm here, we've seen a lot more interaction and growth and excitement starting to happen. So, that definitely, man, it's a big congrats and appreciative opportunity to share here with you that continue the great work and continue to let us know how we, because we're going to give you our opinion anyways.
Yeah, I'll be sure to post the gift.
Yeah, you have Zach in the background. Emir's watching, and he's got some notes. I'm sure eventually some stuff to share. So we'll make sure to keep that. And a big shout out to J Rome in the house. J Rome, aka doesn't miss a thing. He'll make sure to keep you on track, John. Don't worry. We'll keep you active. Well, man, look, I think we've covered pretty much all we've had. Is there anything that you think we missed before we wrap up, John? There's been some good stuff. I'm excited about the MoneyGram thing. That's exciting. I want to get some NFTs and track you down at these events so I can get some prizes. Did we miss anything else?
I think that's all on my end. I don't want to say too much because I probably already said too much. To be honest. Yeah,
especially when Zach starts texting you, man. You probably talked a little bit on something you shouldn't have. But hey, look,
I think he's on like a 5-minute lag, so I'm waiting patiently for him to be like, no, don't say that.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Well, look, John, it was a pleasure getting to hang out with you. I look forward to doing it even more in the near future. To everybody else that's watching, stay in tune. Later on today, I'm going to be participating in a panel with Senator Cory Booker. Looking forward to that. Next week, I'm going to be out in Davos at the World Economic Forum event in Switzerland. I'm excited. I haven't been there before. I'm in talks of being on a panel there, so I'm very excited about that. And then next week, I've got a podcast from Davos. So you're going to want to check into that. Some great insights to some of the sustainability, digitization, decarbonization issues that we're seeing in the blockchain world. And thankfully that Stellar has been really on top of. I can't wait to hear more of what Stellar has going on there. But to John, thank you for joining the show. For everybody watching, thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Take care. John, hold on for a couple seconds. We'll